All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is where you're calling in from. We appreciate you being here with us today. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules. I'm Bo Freeman. I'm a dealer marketing manager here. I'm joined by two awesome guys here. We got Jeremy Blakeney. Jeremy is you're our international TAM guy, right? Is that the right title for you?
Yep, that works. Sure.
Perfect. And then we got David Memento. He's one of our territory sales managers. Two great guys. We're joined here. David, Jeremy, how you guys feeling this morning, this afternoon?
Oh man, ready to rock and roll here.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Awesome.
Exciting stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys being on today. Before we kind of jump into the mix, before we get our hands dirty, we're going to take care of some housekeeping items like we always do at every one of these webinars. First reminder is the webinar is being recorded. So we'll record this webinar. We'll then upload it to our YouTube channel. So if you need to go back and reference anything we talked about or send it on to a coworker that wasn't able to attend, just look for later in the day our YouTube our Qualsys YouTube channel. Just jump on there and you should be able to find not only this webinar, but this entire series. We've got a playlist. It's Transform Your Business, something along those lines. So if you search that, you'll be able to find it. Next piece of kind of housekeeping items is the question section. So we have a packed house here on the backside. We've got some of our great TAMs. We've got a couple of them back in the background answering questions. So if you have any technical questions, any questions around the material we're talking about, please get in that question section and drop them in. And so if this is your first time on GoToWebinar, or if you're a veteran, we want to get you in the habit of getting in that question section. So jump in there in the question section. Let us know where you're calling in from. Your name, obviously, where you're calling in from, and then we're starting to get into that Christmas season. So I want to know what you've got planned for Christmas. Are you staying home?
I have a good Christmas gift suggestion in the slides today.
Oh, perfect. So we're gonna hear that. So let us know where you're calling in from, what the Christmas plans are. You're kicking it at home, you're going to see family, what's going on? And I'll start to call some of you guys out here, shout you out. Okay, we've got Joby calling in from South Padre Island, Texas. Great to see you, Joby. We appreciate you being here. We've got Charles Pendleton from Schwenksville, Pennsylvania. I hope I said that correctly. It sounds like a really cool place. I have to visit. Freddie's calling in from Atlanta. Freddie, good to see you. Let's see who else is calling in here. Joe Salzman always has great responses. He's calling in from Southwest Florida, and he says bah humbug. So Joe, I'm guessing that means you're not celebrating Christmas. I don't know. I hope you are.
Maybe his wife made him put the Christmas tree up way too early, like the rest of us.
Yes, yeah, that was one of our questions we did a couple weeks back. Is when was it appropriate to do so? So. Awesome. We got Joe Maggio calling in from Central Mississippi. He's headed to Panama City, Florida for the week of Christmas. That sounds like a great Christmas time. Get away from the cold. Lance from Springfield, Ohio. You're staying home for Christmas. Me too, Lance. I'm lame. I'm just gonna kick it at home and enjoy the snow. Great. Got lots of you guys, lots of you chatting in. Thank you so much for doing that. But once again, that question section, the purpose of that whole activity to show you where that question section is, and to make sure you're asking questions as we go through this webinar. So next kind of thing that we need to take care of before we jump into the presentation are some poll questions. So if this is your first time joining us, we run these poll questions to kind of help understand where you guys are at so that we can better tailor our presentations and kind of find out where we need to support you guys most. So we've got a couple questions, so bear with me. I'm going to give you guys enough time to kind of respond. We want to get as many responses as possible. So first question here, we are asking, let's see if my computer wants to load. What percentage of jobs are you installing automation devices? So how often and frequently are you installing automation devices? Kind of skewing a little bit more towards that lower end, that 0 to 50%. It's very interesting. Give you guys about 10 more seconds to get your answers in. All righty, thank you guys. We'll move on here to this next poll question. So when you are installing automation devices, how many are you typically installing on jobs? Is it kind of on that lower end? or the higher end? Where do you guys kind of fall on how many automation devices you put in? It's looking like the majority of you right now are in that 0 to 3 category. So great that you tuned into this webinar talking about our new PowerG automation devices. We can kind of hopefully give you some tips and help you understand, you know, why it's important to add more of these devices in when you're installing. So another 10 seconds to let you guys get your answers in. All righty, move on here to this next one.
You know, Bo, I was just gonna say, if anyone wants to, I'm just thinking this out loud, or these questions are coming up, but if you want to chat in, just in the chat section, tell us why.
Yeah.
Why aren't you installing more, or why aren't you installing, you know, devices at all? Is it cost? Is it availability? Is it reliability? Is it, you know, whatever it may be? You know, let us know.
Yeah, that's a great point. Thanks, Jeremy. Drop that in that question section. Let us know your thoughts. We can kind of have some more insight into what your thoughts are. And then this next poll question I kind of pulled up. It's have you ever installed an automation only system? And it's looking like the majority of you have not done that. So interesting stuff there. Great. And then this is the last poll question for now. So, you know, we have this new PowerG Everywhere campaign. We want to put PowerG inside of, you know, the devices that you guys, you know, use in automation. So, you know, what other devices would you guys like to see PowerG technology be a part of? And there's another section because, you know, I can only put 5 options. So please, I'm sure there's a lot of other options you guys would like to see PowerG in. So put that in the question section as well. Looking like almost everybody wants a PowerG thermostat. That's really interesting. All right, give you guys another 10 seconds here. Okay, great. Thank you guys for participating in those poll questions. They're absolutely helpful. They help us understand where you guys are at and the needs that you have so that we can work to give you the things that you guys need to be successful. So one other housekeeping item, sorry, that I forgot to mention. We're doing a giveaway. So we will be giving away 3 sets of the devices that you see here on the screen of our PowerG automation devices. So we'll select 3 random winners. So to qualify, you need to attend the entire webinar. So we download a report. It tells us how long you were in the webinar. Stick around as long as you can to be eligible. And then we just put it into a random generator, and the 3 people that are, you know, randomly selected, they're our winners. So I will reach out to you later today or possibly tomorrow if you are one of the winners of those prizes. So if you see an email from bo.freeman@JCI, make sure you respond so we can get your orders submitted and try and get those out to you guys as soon as possible. So I've talked way too much. I'm tired of hearing myself talk. I am ready to hear from these 2 powerhouse individuals that I've got here with me. So Jeremy, I'm going to turn the time over to you and let you work your magic.
Yeah, sure. Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Bo. I hope maybe all of you appreciate the likeness that I tried to go for the attire today and my emoji guy over there. But happy to be here. You know, to be honest, it's actually been quite some time since I've done this. As Bo had mentioned, I work with our TAMs internationally, Latin America, you know, goodness, Europe, Middle East, Africa, etc. So I don't get to do this too often, so I'm super happy and grateful to have this opportunity to hopefully bring some insight, right? And hopefully help you understand the awesomeness and power of the devices that we're going to talk about today, right? Our PowerG automation devices, and just try and help you understand, you know, what is automation and what is smart home. And you know, for me, traveling around and visiting customers throughout the globe, and Bo, you can go to the next slide. When this is very common, I feel, is when you picture, you talk about smart home or automation and so forth. I think a lot of the train of thought kind of goes almost out into space, and people are thinking that it is very complex, or it has to be very complex. There's Minority Report and Tony Stark stuff and touching, all these things on the walls. And people feel that everything has to be integrated, the washer and the dryer and the fridge and goodness, all of these things have to create this crazy Jarvis-like experience, if you will. And what they don't get is really how easy it can be to offer I guess I'll call it convenience and lifestyle rather than, smart home automation. But that it doesn't have to be so complex, that it can be simple, and we have tools and we have devices today that can offer this convenience and lifestyle. And what I mean by that is very simple things, automating lights. And a lot of us probably know this through alarm.com and rules and scenes and schedules and so forth. But that's really where the power comes from, is creating these situations where, I'll call, for example, the top right picture here, simple things like lights automating, right? And then the bottom right, I have this stepping on a Lego thing, because this is common. Well, maybe not stepping on the Lego is common, but in my home, and I have small kids, and for any of those that have kids or just in general, the power of getting up at night, it's dark, a motion sensor sees you, of course it's not active, and it kicks the lights on, but only to 25%, right? Because I don't want to be blinded by the light when I get up, but I want to be able to see enough to see a pathway to, I don't know, the kitchen or whatever, and to not step on, the Lego or some toy. Convenience and lifestyle and automation that I or we are trying to portray to you all and to our customers is really about creating the need for these items. In security today, not to knock on security or anything, I have to myself, whether it be from my phone or from a panel, physically turn it on or turn it off. And we hear day after day customers maybe leaving or canceling or whatever it may be, our attrition, because they don't use it. And alarm.com has absolutely helped with that, with smart arming and so forth, and creating, as I mentioned, this convenience, right, of using your security system. And with automation, as it mentions, when you sign on for the webinar, it talks about creating a sticky customer. And so we want to create this need where if you were to take it away from them, that they feel it, right? We want them to feel the need to have this, that they've now become accustomed to, my light comes on when it's dark, and I feel good that I'm not walking into a dark home, that I get up in the middle of the night and I'm not tripping over something, that etc. That when they take that away, that they feel, oh, I don't have that anymore, and I miss it and I want it, and it was so convenient that I need that. And so that's the point of what I feel the point of really smart home and this convenience and lifestyle is with IQ and with our products, right, is creating that need and just those simple things. Now, talking about the Lego, this is my Christmas gift, quick joke. So the next slide, as I was looking this up, for any dads out there getting their kids Lego for the holidays, here's something for dad for the holidays, some Lego slippers, so you don't step on those Lego at night. Next slide, Bo. So today when we think about smart home, as I mentioned, these are kind of the big three, and of course matter. We hear matter more and more as we go on. Of course, Z-Wave super prominent, right, in our space. Z-Wave more so available through distribution channels and so forth. Zigbee a little more on the retail side, and then we're hearing all this matter. Something that all of these have in common, well, I guess the top two, Z-Wave and Zigbee, is that they're good. They're technology and a protocol that's been around for forever. They kind of paved the way for smart home and these smart devices. But it is low. It is low band. Frequency RF. It does require a mesh. And for all of you that have used, I'm assuming from looking at the polls, for some of you that do use Z-Wave today, you probably also feel the pain points of using Z-Wave and or Zigbee and having to install a mesh. Listen, my customer only wants a door lock, but my panel is way down the hall. My door lock's already, this much money, $200, $300, whatever it may be. But to make it work, I've got to put 3 other devices in, to make that door lock work. And then, you may or make or break a sale because the customer may not want that or may not be able to afford, and so forth. And even, relying on a mesh, as we know, the more devices you have, and that's kind of a bittersweet thing, right? If I really want a stable, awesome Z-Wave network, this convenient smart home that actually works, I've got to invest some cash, right? I've got to put in quite a few devices to create this mesh ecosystem. So flawlessly, I know that when I need my schedule to work, or the light to come on, or the door lock to work, and so forth, that's just going to work, right? And a lot of the times that's not the case, as we know. We go into a home and we kind of put in really the bare minimum of what the customer wants, based on our packages and what they can afford, and whatever it may be. Zigbee, same thing, 2.4 gigahertz. So the air is already full with that frequency. So not super great. And Matter, a quick blurb on Matter. Matter is not the answer for the reliability factor of our devices, right? If you read up on Matter is these, big conglomerate, the Apples, Amazon, Google, etc., trying to make all of their ecosystems play nicely with each other. Matter is not some new wow protocol that solves all the problems we have with Z-Wave and Zigbee. Essentially, you can get a Z-Wave or Zigbee device that is Matter compliant, if you will, right? So meaning it can work in this big, hopefully someday, ecosystem where everything talks nice to each other, but it still doesn't fix the problem that we have, which is the range and reliability of our smart devices, and making sure they work when we need them and we want them to work, right? And so, Bo, next slide. This is where PowerG comes in, right? So the point of the webinars, and I believe the last webinar we had, talked about the lock. We'll talk about the other devices here. But for any of you that have been installing, Johnson Controls, DSE, Qualsys, panels or devices for, I don't know, even the last however many years, you're probably familiar with PowerG and that brand and that protocol and that technology. And hopefully you've all had great experiences with it. It is an awesome protocol. It is an awesome technology. It is super reliable, and we'll kind of get into a few little things here and there. But our answer to the hole in our market for being able to provide, as I mentioned before, we can do these simple little things, and smart home doesn't have to be the Tony Stark experience. We want to create this convenience and this need. Well, that all goes out the window if it doesn't work, right? It's pretty simple. I mean, if it doesn't work, no one wants it anymore, and they say take it back. And they don't want to have to pay all this extra money for extra devices to make this, door lock work, and when that's all they wanted, right? So this is our answer. Our answer is PowerG, and Bo, you can hop on the next slide here, is taking PowerG and everything that is great with the range. If you've seen, and if you were on our lock videos. The Canadians did a great job. We have some Swedes also in the Nordics that did some videos with just the phenomenal range of PowerG in these devices going over the Niagara Falls. And there's no way that you would ever be able to do that with any of the other protocols that are, available today, typically, right? Range, of course, comes reliability. The encryption of our PowerG technology, right? It's very important. Two-way communication, back and forth. You see the status, it updates, it's reliable, and frequency hopping. Let's talk about, interference, right? How many times, again, so I come from, and many of the TAMs and the people on the chat today, we come from, or have come from in a previous life, the dealer space. We've installed systems. We've done the smart home thing, and we've installed these. And I can't tell you how many times that we've been racking our head, beating it against the wall, trying to understand, man, why won't this Z-Wave or these Z-Wave devices just work? There's something killing it. And lo and behold, it's some baby monitor, up in the nursery, and it's on the whatever frequency, and you're just frustrated. You've been there for hours, or even today, there's been times you have a Z-Wave device, it enrolls just fine, looks like it's great. For some reason, it's actually bad, and it's spamming the network, and now your entire mesh doesn't work anymore, right? And we've seen that, and I'm sure for any of you that have installed, these smart devices have kind of seen these things as well. So taking all this super awesome stuff with our very familiar, reliable PowerG technology in our door contacts, peers, whatever it may be, and putting that into a smart device, we hope and we feel that this is the answer to the pains, or maybe a lot of them, hopefully all of them, that you've been seeing when installing, your Z-Wave devices. We asked at the beginning, why aren't you, or I'd asked you to put in the chat, why aren't you installing more Z-Wave devices? It very well could be because, hey, my customer just wanted a lock, but it's way over here, my panel's over there, and I have to install 4 more things to hop the signal to get to my lock to be reliable. I lost the deal because they can't spend that money. Or it's just, it's unreliable, or, you don't get, all these things. And that is our hope, right, with PowerG, mating with automation. So we'll get into, a few of the devices as you saw from the screen. We have some lighting devices we'll chat about today. I won't go super in detail on these right now, but in-wall light switches, on off, the dimmer, socket, a smart plug that of course doesn't require an electrician. Very simple, move it around. That's another thing. I could unplug it and plug it across the room, and I shouldn't have any problem, right? With Z-Wave, you'll remember, if I move something or something changes, you better make sure you rediscover the network and reconfigure things, and you may be totally hosed. And then of course the outdoor plug. So we want to present these things to you today. This is kind of our starting portfolio. There's so much more to come, we hope, down on the roadmap, hence the questions from Bo. Let us know what you need, right? We want to fulfill, and we need it to make sense. What do you need in your market to be successful? So let's talk about just a quick blurb on each one of these, Bo. So yeah, so there's a smart plug, and you can hit the animation for the next slide. This is, I don't have to explain too much. Everyone knows probably what a plug-in, sometimes it's called an appliance module or a lighting module from Z-Wave or Zigbee. Very similar. The form factor is actually very small. Plug in the front is controllable from the panel, from alarm.com, etc. 15 amps, and that's pretty standard across the board, 1800 watts. So be mindful, what you're plugging in. Your space heater, actually in my room right here, it's not super heated sometimes, so I throw a space heater in, and actually with our Z-Wave IQ socket, that we had some time ago. I used to use that, and just be mindful, right, of the load. So if you're using a space heater, that sort of thing, they draw quite a bit. So likely, perhaps you may trip a wire or trip, the break, the relay or the switch or breaker, whatever you want to call it inside, and have to reset the device. But plugging in a lamp, plugging in a fan, plugging in your Christmas lights, and so forth, being able to use those for schedules. And it's super simple, right? Plug it in. No need for an electrician. Bo, next one. And then we get to so kind of the same thing, an outdoor version. And I'll in just a second, I'll pass off to David here for an experience. Of course, Christmas time. He mentioned this the other day, but something very awesome with this as well that you'll notice on a few of our devices. These have 2 inputs. A lot of the times you'll see with the Z-Wave or the Z-Wave plug-in modules, they'll have 2 inputs. One is the controllable and one is the pass-through, right? So you have always on power, and then you have the controllable power. So this has 2 sides, 2 outlets. It's 15 total, right? And it is still sharing the 1800 watts. But both sides are independently controllable from each other. So multiple endpoints, for example. So if you want to be the house, that people are stopping by to check out your Christmas lights flashing to some crazy Trans-Siberian Orchestra music or whatever, throw a couple of these in, get some schedules going, get your Christmas lights banging around. This will help you. So great range on temperature, but David has a little quick experience here on his outdoor device.
Well, I mean, like you said, we've got 2 plugs on this side, so we can control them separately. So imagine I have lights that come on outside, but I want different lights to come on at different times. I can now control each one separately. This right side comes on at a certain time and then goes off a certain time with the left side. So it looks like you've got a lot of activity outside. You can control, say, an outdoor pool pump and then maybe a light off of it. So, again, watch your wattage and stuff like that. But we've got 2 separate ways to control this now. Really nice unit. Really, really, and easy to learn in. Really easy. I like the fact that you said, Jeremy, same thing with the lamp module, the plug-in module is, that was a big problem I had in the past with customers who would unplug their Z-Wave device and move it to another outlet. Now you have to rediscover it. You don't have that problem with PowerG. It's automatically going to be there. When you unplug it from this outlet and bring it over to another one, it's there. Not going to fall off like a Z-Wave device.
Yep, and it's funny. Half of the time, you install these repeaters or these repeating devices, on the Z-Wave network, these outlets into the wall to hop to get to your lock, and you've left the install, and 20 minutes later, the person's unplugged it and thrown it in a drawer because they're like, I don't like that there, or what's the point of that, or I don't have a lamp there that I need to plug that into. So for me, it's useless, having it plugged in the wall. So I'm going to pull it out and throw it in my drawer, right? And then what happens? Then you get a phone call. My lock isn't working. You use all the tools from alarm.com and on the panel that show the commands and how many have been successful and not, and run this report. And lo and behold, you go there and Mrs. Johnson's pulled out the device that's kind of the the intermediary, the device that the crux, if you will, of your entire mesh, right? So gone are those days, right? That we're really trying to really take away all those pain points. We really think we hit the nail on the head. Go ahead, Bo, next one. And I was gonna mention also, something David had said. It's simple to install, right? All of these devices, as far or enroll for the most part. Of course, when you get into the in-wall switches and so forth, typically, depending on your state and where you are, it requires an electrician. But as far as enrolling and programming, I mean, it's very simple. You can check the manual. If you can install a regular PowerG device, rather than going to devices, security sensors, you go devices, automation, and you hit PowerG. devices, or add PowerG, right? And then follow the enroll instructions. So this is another great solution for any of those that want something a little more permanent. My Christmas tree is always here, or I want this dedicated outlet because I have, I don't know, a lamp on a little hutch or entry table. Maybe I don't have a lot of space, to put the little block behind the table, whatever it may be. This is a more permanent solution. And the cool thing with the socket, also the smart socket, is that, again, both sides are individually controllable, right? There are multiple endpoints, and you can control them from the face of the socket itself, right? So that's where, if you saw the animation run across the page, you'll see the up and the down arrow on those two little buttons. So, it got darker sooner. My schedule didn't hit yet. I want the light on. I can walk over and just hit thanks, Bo. I can walk over and hit the button on the actual socket.
You hit that on the head. I mean, this outlet, I got 3 ways I can control this outlet. I can turn the top and the bottom on right from the outlet. I could do it from my panel. I can do it from alarm.com. So, hey, I'm in my living room. I don't need to run back to my panel to turn it on. I'm not going to look for my phone to turn it on. I can walk right to the outlet and turn it on or off right from the outlet.
Yeah,
so,
and
being able to control both of them separate. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the fourth way is to not touch it at all, right?
Exactly.
Is creating those scenes or schedules and so forth. Whatever's plugged in, the lamp, the PIR sees me, it turns on, etc. Again,
Yep.
right? Create the need. A smart home is only so smart if I'm standing 5 feet away from, the wall switch and I'm opening my app to push a button. Not much difference there. And so, many will profess, and this is kind of an uneducated thing for typical homeowners. They go to Best Buy or whatever, and they see now aisles and aisles of smart things, and they're pulling whatever they think is cool off the shelf. And they get home, they have 5 boxes plug into the routers. They bought a switch to plug more boxes into the routers, and they've got folders and folders and apps on their phone. Not so smart, not so convenient, right? And that's where you all come in, is education, expectation, and then of course making sure they have the right product, the right reliable solution that is ultimately going to give them a satisfactory user experience, right? Next one, Bo. And then light switch, pretty standard, right? On, off. Something actually kind of cool with our light switch and the dimmer is there is this like built-in timer. So actually, press the on button, it turns on, press the off button, it turns off. You can actually double press the off button, and it will start essentially this 5-minute timer and turn off after 5 minutes. So there's a delay that you can manually do from the switches, which is pretty neat. If you don't want to have that, constantly programmed, and maybe just want it one time or a couple times for whatever the need be, that you can invoke that essentially straight from the switch, which is pretty awesome. Next one, Bo, I think the next one is the dimmer. Same thing, electrician, it's permanent, it's in the wall, up, off, down, or sorry, up, on, down, off, hold up or hold down to manage your set point, right, of the dimmable set point, essentially, of the light, and then up and down, to turn that on or off. Just note, of course, so we do support, CFL LED 100 watts, incandescent 200 watts. Like most devices with LED, and everyone, retrofitting their home and having more efficient LED lights, keep in mind whether or not the lights in the ballast support dimming and the voltage and so forth, so you don't get this flicker, which is actually pretty common with smart dimming devices. But I have dimmers in half my home, to be completely honest, they're great for a lot of scenarios, especially as I mentioned, coming out into the living room, not tripping or stepping on some Lego. So go ahead, Bo, next one. And I think, yeah, so keep the questions coming. As I mentioned, you know, the purpose of these devices is to relieve that pain point that you all see with the smart devices today, with Z-Wave, Zigbee, you know, whatever it may be. Give you an easy installation experience, peace of mind, knowing that when you leave, it's still going to work. And ultimately to your customers, the end user, that they have a good user experience, that it's reliable, that when the schedule hits or the scene hits or whatever it may be, that it's going to work. And you know, there's nothing more that that hurts you is when it doesn't work and you lost a customer because they're just, you know, having problems. You know, at the end of the day, we want problem free. And this is a step in the direction of problem-free, you know, convenience and creating that need, that sticky customer. So, David, I'll pass it to you there, my friend.
A lot of great information there, Jeremy. Thank you. You go to the next slide, Bo. I've had a lot of experience in this industry. I've been in this industry for over 37 years. I'm a territory sales manager. I cover PA, Maryland, Delaware, DC, Western New York. So I get out. I mean, I've had experience in the past. I mean, I go all the way back to the old X10 days with automation. I don't know if anybody's played with that, but you want to talk about not reliable. One of the big words I'm going to use a lot, and Jeremy was in one of your slides, is reliability. PowerG. A lot of people said, hey, why did you go work for Johnson Controls? You had a company, you sold your company, you went to work for Johnson Controls. It's this, it's PowerG. I'm amazed by this product. It's a solid product and it's reliable. And this slide right here, increase your product profile. So we've now added more products in PowerG that you were used to and you love and have to offer to people. But again, reliability, less hassle. Again, I go back to the X10 days, but Z-Wave, Z-Wave Plus, Z-Wave 500, 700, 800. We talked about it, Jeremy, unplugging. You've got a customer who unplugged the lamp module, and now you've got it where they put it in another one and it didn't learn. We've got that ability and that reliability on our Z-Wave device, or on our PowerG over that Z-Wave. We don't have to worry about building a mesh network. You know, smart home integration. With this, we know it's going to work. And increased peace of mind. I mean, we always sell in our industry. We've always sell peace of mind. Peace of mind. You want that customer to have peace of mind. Well, what about us? We want to have peace of mind too. As an installation company, we want to know when we leave there, we don't have to wait till the next day or that night or get a phone call back that my light's not working, my lock's not working. We used to rely on that mesh network. And if something affects part of that mesh network, it goes down. You know, we didn't have that peace of mind, even as the installation company, to rely on what we were putting in. We knew that we could get it to work, but we knew there could be a situation in the future. With PowerG, you don't have that. I mean, we've got the distance, we've got the encryption, we've got frequency hopping, which is a big part of PowerG, and it's two-way transmission. So just a lot more reliability to this product. You can go to the next slide, Bo. PowerG range. So we'll jump one more slide, Bo. If you guys have not seen this, go to YouTube. On YouTube, just type in PowerG over on Niagara Falls or Epic Security Distance Test. But you can see we actually have the guys up in Canada did this test where we actually controlled PowerG devices such as locks, lights, our new PowerG touchscreen panel. We armed and disarmed over Niagara Falls from Canada to the US and US back. 1.1 kilometers. I know we got a lot of US people going, what's a kilometer? That's about, what, 3,600 feet, I believe. 1.1 kilometers. So we were well over 3,600 feet of transmission across there. But check it out on the YouTube page. Just go in and type PowerG over Niagara Falls. A great video these guys put together showing you the power of PowerG and the reliability of it. So go ahead. We'll move on. All right. So build your system that you want. Just like Jeremy was talking. What if you got a customer, all they wanted was that lock, or all they wanted to do was control that one light, but you weren't close enough to that panel. You had to add a couple more devices just to get that network to work with, you know, with a mesh network. You had to add costly repeaters and all that. This gives you the capability to build the system to the size you want. I think you said, Jeremy, that most people said 0 to 3 devices. I'm sorry, Bo. Most people said 0 to 3 devices, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it was pretty close to that on the lower
Yes.
end. Yeah.
So 61% said 0 to 3 devices. So that was the majority.
So I'm curious how many people tried to put in one device, didn't get it to work, and by the time they're done, they added 3 or 4 or 5 devices just to get that mesh network to work for that one device that they wanted to. So this is a way to get in and get in and build that network. I mean, also, we didn't really talk about this, but keep the costs low. I think we are extremely, extremely competitive in cost with these lights, light switches, outlets, lamp modules, and the door locks. Check out with your distributors today. The pricing on this is really, really good and really affordable. And we all know PowerG, again, that word, reliable. Go ahead, we can move on. Jeremy, we kind of talked about this the other day with multi-family dwelling units and stuff like this. I mean, there's some opportunities that we miss here. I know you wanted to kind of mention some of the opportunities here.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know, for any of you that have been around for a little while with IQ Panel, you know, at one point we added these additional screens, or we did this big campaign vertical. You know, different verticals. One was builder or automation only. Another one was like wellness and so forth. You know, so David, you know, David's talking about, you know, where can we use PowerG devices or these automation devices? You know, the answer is everywhere technically, and he'll talk about the other ones, but specifically, you know, with MDU, if you look at these pictures, we don't want you to have to walk away from a sale, right? We don't want you to have to, just like with wellness, you know, the person is elderly, oh, I don't need security, and okay, well, sure, you know, walked away, no sale there. You know, we have a solution for that. MDU, right? I live on the 5th story. There's a gate at the bottom. You have to buzz in. There's a security guard. There's a, you know, all these excuses. I don't need security. Okay, well, I lost that one too. How many people live in apartments or multiple dwelling units that we do not touch because we're selling security, right? I guarantee you, if you ask any one of those people, most of them have some Alexa thing or some Google, or they want some smart something. They want the same stuff we do, or the people that live in a single family home, right? And so just in general, you know, going to automation, it is an open door. It's a vertical that you don't have to walk away and lose that sale because they don't need security. And you know, at the end of the day, a convenient smart home solution, as I mentioned, it's not just PowerG plugs and lights and so forth. It's the PowerG contact that's on the window, or that's on the door, or that's in the corner, that's a PIR, that creates this ecosystem with our PowerG devices that makes these things work and are convenient for each other, that pops the light on or turns the air conditioning off when your window's left open for too long. Everyone wants that, right? And so at the end of the day, you don't have to walk away from a project like this, or someone that lives in not a single family home type of situation.
Well, I think, and even going beyond like the automation devices, right? We're trying to make it easier for you to do that with the modularity of the panels, right? To be able to go in and build these solutions for these different verticals, so that, as Jeremy said, you can, grab that business, grab onto that. Like, imagine how many devices in this like one little townhome type thing that's being built. How many devices, if you could get in with that builder or that property manager, whoever it is, how many devices you could put in there? Like, that's a good deal. That's a good amount of devices to put in there. So, sorry.
And to not, yeah, and to not have to worry about different mesh networks slamming into each other and so forth, right? So yeah, keep going, David. Yeah, thanks.
Automation.
You good on this slide?
Yeah.
Okay.
You good?
Yep.
Yeah. Residential. I mean, new home builders. Okay. I mean, how many times have we gone into a brand new home and we put in Z-Wave devices, some other automation devices, and like you had said, Jeremy, you now added that baby monitor, and all of a sudden my mesh network's not working. Something's interfering with it. We can actually go into this with the builder or a new home and sell the product and not have to worry once the customer moves back in. It's gonna work. So, but there's a great opportunity for this. The other thing you said back in the beginning of this whole thing was stickiness. Unlike security, people get stuck with this stuff. I mean, they get so used to that light automatically turning on or off, or the door lock being there, that it's something they don't want to be without. So they're going to pay for it. And most likely, you add one or two devices down the line, they're going to add more. So very sticky, very great for residential products, and great for builders. Get with your builder. Talk to them about a lock. Talk to them about a light switch for the front porch. And that's a good start in there. But reliability. One thing we haven't discussed is, I like PowerG so much, and I know we haven't brought it up, but I feel there is a platform for PowerG automation in some commercial environments. I mean, we could actually put a door lock now in that one separate office in a large warehouse that they just want to protect that one room with a deadbolt lock, or hey, they want a light to come on in the back when the system is armed. You've got that capability with the distance and the reliability of PowerG. We can use it in commercial environments too.
Good point.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, David, thank you. That's informative. Jeremy, thank you as well. I learned a lot, and it's and you guys got to listen to me again. I'm sorry, I've been presenting every single one of these webinars in this whole series, and you got to listen to me this week and 2 more weeks after that. And you don't have to again for a while, I promise. But great insights on the technical side and the sales side from Jeremy and David. I'm the marketing side now, right? And I know this audience typically kind of skews more technical, so I'll try not to take a lot of time here and talking through the marketing, but if you have a marketer on your team that isn't here today, let's send this to them afterwards so they can kind of hear about it. So just want to talk about PowerG again, right? So if you're looking from a marketing lens, right, PowerG is what's going to differentiate these devices from the other devices. We've talked about it. There's automation devices that exist. There's constraints that are, that exist with those other the Z-Waves, the Zigbees. There's constraints that exist there that don't exist with PowerG. And I talked a little bit about this last week in the lock webinar, so sorry if you were there, but I think that there's a lot of power in selling PowerG and leveraging the brand equity of PowerG. I think if you can go in and you can educate your customers, if you can let them know, hey, I'm using the industry leading technology in all of these devices that I'm putting in your home. I love my customers. I want to give you the best possible option out there. That does something really powerful. That means when somebody comes and knocks on their door, or when they're on that big marketplace website that exists, that's really getting into security, and they're seeing these cool new products that are coming out, they're questioning in their mind, I wonder if that has PowerG. Maybe they investigate a little bit further and they find out it doesn't have PowerG. So they say, I don't need to switch. I don't need to make that change. I don't need to do any of that because I've got PowerG, and I know what PowerG is, and I know it's one of the best possible options that I have out there. So in really focusing on PowerG and trying to tell that story a little bit more to your customers, I know not end users aren't like very excited or want to hear about all the technical insights and the frequencies that they operate on and those kind of things, but just educating them to the level where they understand the power that is PowerG. I think it can be really, really helpful in, once again, creating those stickier customers and helping them stick around for longer and want more devices in their home. And so looking at kind of how to market, I wanted to kind of put up some concepts, some ideas, some messages that you could maybe build campaigns around when you wanted to market the PowerG automation devices. And so we're looking at kind of that residential vertical. So if you wanted to kind of talk to those potential residential customers, maybe you could build a campaign around, this concept of focusing on the important things, right? Jeremy mentioned a lot of this convenience, right? We want automation to provide convenience. We want your life to just, you're able to focus on reading that bedtime story to your kid, not focusing on making sure the lights in the garage are turned off, or making sure the Christmas lights or your bistro lights that are outside are turned off. You're not worried about that. It's not even something that has to come across your brain. So you can focus on what's really important to your, your customers can focus on what's important to them. And peace of mind is kind of in that same thought, right? I've got PowerG in my automation devices. They're going to work. They're going to function. The system that I have in my home is going to work as it's supposed to. You could build campaigns and messages around smart home, right? That's kind of what we're talking. We're building a smarter home to make your life better, to improve the quality of your life. You look at Qualsys, improving the quality of life systems, improving people's quality of life. You could also explore energy savings, right? I think everybody in the world would like to give less of their money to the utility companies. So you could build some campaigns and some thoughts and some marketing around energy savings and telling your customers, hey, if we can kind of build in this system with these automation devices, we can save you some money on energy. Looking in the builder vertical, I was kind of doing some research and I found this article it's the National Association of Home Builders. And there was this quote that came out of this article, and it said, from some research they had done, that 2/3 of consumers say they want a connected home, right? So most people are expecting a connected home. So when if you're marketing to a builder, right, you kind of have, you need to talk to a builder and build that relationship and be able to get the products in, and then you have to after that market to kind of the home buyer. So messages and thoughts that you could talk to a builder about are, hey, your customers want these smart homes. They want it. They're expecting it. They're coming to buy a new home. They expect this home to be smart and to be connected. And then that second box, happy home buyers refer friends. If you're using PowerG with a builder, right, this technology that's extremely reliable, that has incredible range, they're going to have a positive experience, right? The system's just going to work. Those automation features are going to work. You're not going to have to worry about kind of all these other variables that David and Jeremy have set out there of things changing in the system not functioning correctly. So if they have a positive experience, I love talking about customer experience. And we know that when customers have a positive experience, they're more likely to refer their friends. So you could talk to a builder, say, hey, they want this, they expect it, and they're going to refer their friends so that you'll be their home builder when they need to build a home. Lower costs, right? Once again, you're saying, hey, because we've got PowerG, we don't have to add all these repeaters. We're not going to have to make costs higher. And then once you're in the home, you talk to the homeowner about the energy savings that it can provide to them and the money that can save them. So just some concepts and ideas. My role as the marketing dealer marketing person is to help you guys. So if you have concepts or ideas that you want to play with, reach out to me. We can do it. Jeremy, you want to say something? No? Oh, you're good. Okay. Awesome. And then moving on, so just some more ideas, some promotions, right? So with these PowerG automation devices, if you wanted to sign up some new customers, maybe you build a promotion. Hey, sign up for a year. We're going to give you an outdoor plug for your outdoor Christmas lights and an indoor plug for your Christmas tree. That's an easy promotion that you can build. Or existing customers, leverage these devices to get them to sign up for another year or two. Offer them some of these devices for free. That's a way that you could use these in promotions, part of your marketing mix. And then this last kind of concept here, this is a screenshot of a little flyer that we've made that's on the dealer portal. It's just to kind of help you see use cases for these devices. I think that the brain is a really powerful thing, right? And in marketing, if you can help your customers put themselves in the situation where they would be getting the value from the products, it can be extremely powerful. So there's just some questions here that I put on this slide that you could use in marketing and talking to your customers, asking them if they want to save on their power bill, right? Get their mind thinking about, oh yeah, I would love to save money in my power bill. How can we do that? What are some of the options to do that? You can ask them the question that a lot of people are going to say yes to. Are your kids always leaving the lights on in their room, right? Is there that one room in the house where the lights are consistently being left on? Get them to think about that. Oh yeah, my kids are always leaving the basement, bathroom light on. I would love to be able to turn that off remotely, or kind of set up some automation that turns off after a certain period of time. Get their minds thinking about where they could, extract the value from these products. Same things with holiday lights, right? That's kind of on the mind because Christmas is around. Asking if they have lamps in their home, or talking, asking more intricate. Sorry, I talk so fast in these webinars, I'm so nervous. The more intricate automation scenarios where cameras are detecting motion and turning lights on and things of that nature. Just getting their minds thinking about how they can get the value out of these products. So just some marketing concepts. Once again, if you guys want any help kind of developing marketing ideas or concepts or campaigns, please reach out to me and we can help you build that. We are at about time here. Neil, any of the other TAMs in the background, are there any maybe one or two questions that would be good to bring up in front of the group?
No, not really. I mean, we've been busy in the background. Lots of great questions, lots of engagement. But no, we've answered everything. I don't think there's anything that we would need to bring forward. No.
Okay, perfect. Appreciate you, Neil. Jeremy, David, thank you guys. You guys were informative. I learned a bunch from being here with you guys. Reminder, we do have a webinar next week about IQ Wi-Fi 6, and the following week we have one about IQ Water Valve. If you're registered here today, you're registered for those webinars as well. Once again, the winners, we'll select 3 random winners to win a couple of these devices. And if you win, I'll be reaching out to you. Once again, thank you guys so much for your time today. We appreciate you. We deeply care about our partners, and we hope everybody has a great rest of their day.
So yeah, thanks everyone.
Happy holidays, everybody.